Alright, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Connor Darnell Designs Xfinity Series here in the Relentless Racing League. 2 races remain in the season. 1 race left until we decide our championship 4. Eric Schaefer already in that championship 4 after his win at Bristol last week. These guys can go out again here this week at Texas Motor Speedway for 150 laps, stage break at lap 40. So that final stage is going to be a very long 110 laps. These guys do have 4 sets of tires. I can't remember if that's how many sets they have in total or how many sets they have left. But good amount of tires. You see Ludi currently on that P1 on the scoreboard. He was actually doing pretty good in practice. He was fastest in practice, actually. As you see on your screen right now, those are the point standings coming into tonight. Schaefer, Gordon, May, Banks are top 4 in points coming in here. Texas, Stewart, just 5 points out. That should be interesting battle between Stewart, Banks, May, and Gordon. Axon, he's a little bit out, but he's still possible. Evan Ludi out by a mile. Evan Ludi did not have the day at Bristol he wanted, so he definitely has his work cut out for him here tonight at Texas, and it might be starting off on a good note. Currently sitting in that P1 position. I'm going to do my best to keep it updated, but I figured out last week I somehow was 5 points off. I don't know how. Maybe I just can't map. I don't know. Stewart goes P2. Alright, let's get my handy dandy notebook going. Keep track of points. Tom Golker, another one of those guys. I think if anyone is in a must win, it's Tom Golker. Alrighty, so it's qualifying not quite coming to an end, but I don't really see anybody out there. Oops, who is messaging me? Oh, Tony. Yeah! Alright, don't necessarily see anyone out there that could give Ludi a run for his money based off where they're running at practice. So I'm pretty damn sure Ludi has his pole in the bag. Here's Mr. Tone.
What's going on?
What the hell is Jacob running? He has no number on that car. What's going on, though?
Oh, not much. It's showing he's running his normal paint scheme on my car, or on my screen.
No, not for me.
Make sure you got your hide car numbers checked.
Oh, it's always checked.
Well, every time they do an update, sometimes things get a little goofy with that stuff, so. You may have to
That update
reload
hasn't
trading
came out
paints.
yet.
You may have to reload trading paints.
Maybe. Alright, look. While trading paints loads up, let's go over our official starting lineup. So, Evan Ludi getting that bonus point for a pole, and man, was he needing that. Took points out of the playoffs coming into tonight. Scott Stewart outside pole, Ethan Collier, Justin Miller, row 2. Row 3, Chad Wiggins, Kevin Biggs, Allen Grando, Mitchell Conley. row 4. Brian Marshall and Tom Gokren, probably the only must-win driver coming in tonight. Qualifying P9, Nathan Penley, William Peters. Row 6. Not too many playoff guys, not top 10. Axe and May in your 7th row. Gordon Spain, Josh and Weston, row 8. Row 9, Hastings and Gordon. Row 10, Jacob Treat, Cedric Brosso. Row 11, Brandon Hughes and Brandon Banks. Oh, there's all a DBR right next to each other. Michael Newbraw and Eric Schaefer, row 12. Going on to row 13, you got the Dozer Medlin and Davey Hendricks. Darren Cannon, Brady Price, row 14. Ricky Williams, John Schollenbacher, row 15. And they Gibb and Tony Frey in that 15th and final row. Really surprised to see a lot of playoff guys not in that top 10 starting here tonight. Alright, the trading paints update. Let's see if Jacob fixed. There you go. Yep, I fixed it. That was weird. Well, Tony, before we start, I'm going to pull back up the point standings. Other than Golker, who else do you think is in a must-win here tonight?
Well, Evan Ludy's pretty close to a must-win, just looking at the point variance.
If I'm going to be honest, Evan Ludy has to get top 3 in the stage. If he does it, I'm going to put Ludy in a must-win.
Yeah. I feel like Atkinson's not far off from that. I feel like the real battle right now is going to be between Stewart and Banks.
And that could be an interesting one, because those two guys have been even on speed really all season. Yeah, that one could be interesting. Alright. Ludy got the pole. I tell you what, I've not put in no practice for Texas coming up. But you're out there driving around, Tony. What was the car feeling like?
Oh, it's gonna be tough tonight, man. Bottom line on 1 and 2 is gonna be huge, but that wall comes out quick, and the car is really unstable, kind of entry and exit of both corners. So
wow.
And then that turn 4 wall, man, it's gonna bite some people tonight. So we will see how it all plays out, but I expect the turn 4 wall to really be an issue, and any side-by-side racing off of the corner is definitely going to be an issue.
Yeah, and the tricky thing here about Texas is really taking care of the tires entering turn 1. It is really easy to get in there too hot, and after a couple laps, their tires will be blistering. Okay, so it pulls off. Last race to the championship race next week. Who's going to get in?
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag out in the air. Evan with the leader's advantage, getting a decent restart. Actually, really good restart over Scott Stewart. Not sure if Scott Stewart was caught sleeping or what, but he got a very sluggish restart. He'll leave him side by side with the 45 of Ethan Collier to come out of turn number 2. By the way, he is not here tonight, but happy birthday to Riley Barden. This was a race for him, but unfortunately he couldn't show up. Me either. I think. What did I say? Tony, can you get my name spelled right? What?
I have no clue.
Where did I spell it wrong at? Oh, Texas practice. Well, yeah, no kidding, Matt. You're probably doing a bunch of Richmond. I might just go practice Richmond for you pain in your butt. But Scott Stewart starting to look to the inside of Evan Ludy. Going down the backstretch. Fairly easy pass going into turn number 3. Really good setup off of turn 2 by Scott Stewart. He give himself a lap lead here tonight in Texas. And your next playoff driver outside of these two, you're going to go all the way back to P9, the 42, Justin Atkinson. I want to know where... Was it in here? No.
Oh, we got the 94 in the grass on the front stretch.
Oh, probably wasn't there.
Oh, yeah, that all started with Brandon Hughes, and he checked up, got in the back of D-Ron, or got into D-Ron, which caused the check behind him. Yeah.
What kind of entry was that? This ain't dirt, Brandon. You can't slide it down to the bottom like that. Looks like a dirt line he was taking there. Stewart, though, out to a 9/10 second lead. Right behind him, got Evan Ludy in the 28. And they got a big group of guys behind them, led by the 14 of Justin Miller. Miller, Grindle, Biggs, Wiggins, Conley, Peters, and Axon all back here in this group of guys. Good to be back. Who's Buzz killing? Miller starting to fall back here a little bit. Ludy's starting to fall back as well. Starting to fall back to that front bumper of Allen Grindle. Stewart out to a second and a half, no, about second lead.
So we talked about the stage being a lap 40 earlier. I don't believe they can make it to lap 40 on fuel, so that's gonna shake things up a little bit. But normally the guys who we see that think they can make it will start saving right away, and I don't really see anybody saving. So this may be a must stop before the stage type deal, or maybe I am just way off on fuel mileage. I'm not sure which.
Yeah, and the guys you're usually talking about, these two back here, the DBR guys, the Banks and Schaefer. They started in the rear, started towards the back. They have made their way up to 11th and 12th, so they definitely are not saving. That right there, like you said, that right there tells me I don't think you can make it, even if you're trying to save, because our usual suspects in saving fuel, they're going all out.
Yeah, it's either there's no way of making it, or like I said, my mileage could be way off. But I heard it from a pretty reliable source that about 35 is about what you're going to get out of fuel.
Yeah, you're not saving 5 laps with 60% fuel. If we had 100% fuel, easy. You could easily save 5 laps, but not 60%.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
I could maybe do 2.5, 3 at max, and that's ultimate save from the time the green flag drops. Yeah, speaking of DBR, Banks, Schaefer working together to get through the field, working around Atkinson right now. Up closer towards our front, Grindle just got around Evan Ludy for P2. It's crazy how good Grindle been doing in these playoffs, because I have a feeling if he was in the playoffs, he might be in this round right now. He just did not have a good start to the season, and by the time the races started coming together, it was too late for him to get the points to make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, he's definitely got it put together for the second half of the season, just a little too late.
He ran way wide, though. Wow, he was like in that third lane. Axon starting to fall back. He was running 9th. He's falling back outside the top 10 into 13th. Schaefer and Banks making their way through the field. They're in 8th and 9th now. Tom Golker, if I'm not mistaken, Golker started in the top 10. He's fallen back just inside the top 15 in P15, I believe.
right there at the back of that pack, there's Jason Hastings. He just had a big RC win, I believe it was.
Yeah, what was that about? Like, I've never gotten that RC dirt stuff. It just seems like, eh. But I know there's probably money to be made there if you know what you're doing. So I wouldn't think a lot, but some. And speaking of Hastings, he's actually working on the 86 after just getting past the 77 on 1 and 2, trying to get 2 positions in 1 lap here.
Yeah, that was the Midwest Division, Midwest or Midget Division Midwest Dirt Oval Championship in Brookfield, Wisconsin. So congrats to him on that championship.
Wisconsin. So you were out there practicing. What is the ideal way to pass with these cars? I have always known Texas to set up your pass off of turn 2 into 3. Is that still what it's like in these cars?
See, I don't think so. I think
Really?
it's gonna be who can hold the bottom longer in 1 and 2. 3 and 4. I don't feel like there was much. Like, you could run it almost wide open. It was getting loose, but 1 and 2, I think, is where you're going to see people make the passes. They're going to, if they can get their nose underneath that car in front of them on the bottom. 3 and 4 has a good. I personally liked the higher line in 3 and 4. I felt like the car was a lot more stable.
Ooh, Peter Van Weston almost getting into it.
But yeah, I think you're going to see the majority of the passes be made on the bottom of 1 and 2.
So you're saying a setup off of 4 into 1 is the best way to pass
Yeah,
it?
I think you just got to hit that entry perfect on turn 1 so your car sticks on that white line. And if you can hit the white line and hold it, it seems like you carry a lot more speed through the exit of the corner.
Then we kind of started seeing find out. Something I've been noticing, Ludi starting to track backwards. Our pole sitter falling back to P6. Don't know if that's planned or maybe he's starting to struggle. I would think 18 laps in. I think Ludi's just starting to preserve his tires, knowing we have to go 40 laps here.
Well, this track, the way these cars are driving, I feel like early in the run is where you're going to make the majority of your passes. After that, it's going to single file out. The guys who are going to fall backwards are the guys who burned up their tires early on.
Gotcha. Yeah. What is his last time by? 31.37 to 31.49. So maybe Ludi was just falling back to save tires because he was the second fastest in the top 10 that last time by. And he didn't really have too much draft out with the 12 of Wiggins. Speaking of which, Twiggins. Twiggins. Wiggins running, why did he do that?
What?
He put the numbers like it is on the next gen.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's jealous of the next gen car. Or maybe he had a logo not fitting correctly, so he had to kick the number forward a little bit.
It looks so weird. But Wiggins rocking the FFH sponsor. Don't know how much of it's true, but Nike was saying they might be on board next season for ARCA.
That's actually a done deal.
Oh, okay.
They will be our ARCA Series sponsor next season.
Okay, I know Nike was saying something about it, so FFH can be our ARCA sponsor next season. And during the off season, I'm gonna work with some stuff and do some TISM work and figure out his stream to do services. Just in front of them, you got Kevin Biggs doing what we were just talking about. What I was talking about, setting up a pass off for turn 2 and 3, and that's what he did. Was able to get to that inside quarter panel of the 37 of Grindle and made the pass fairly easily on the bottom line in 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think he was one of those ones that was conserving tires, and now you're seeing him marching forward.
Yeah, even with trying to get around Grindle there and had an awkward entry into 3. He was only a half a tenth slower than Stewart last time by. Let's see if we can do this time here. Ludy's starting to fall back a little bit here at 31.7, 3 tenths slower than the leaders. I think Ludy is starting to struggle here a little bit. By Stewart does a 5.5. Biggs does a 4.8. So Biggs is slow but surely catching that leader. Mitchell Conley here early in this race having a solid run. He's duking it out with the 12 of Wiggins who we were just talking about. Wiggins looking to get a 2-for-1 deal off of turn 2. Got around Conley, now looking to get around Grindle.
Yeah, I feel like this is a race that's going to benefit Chad. Chad's good at saving tires, saving fuel, that type of stuff. So this is kind of one of those races where I feel like he's going to have a solid performance. He's not going to beat you in a short run, but you give him a long run, he's going to climb forward.
Yeah, and the biggest thing here at Texas, and I think it's what's helped me be so good at Texas, is not burning your tires in 1 and 2. I have never figured out how to take turn 1 and 2 in Texas, so I always approach it way more cautiously than everybody else. And on the back end of a run, the way I'm approaching turn 1 and 2, which is not the right way, helps me out in the end of the long run because I'm not cooking my right front tire by throwing it into turn 1. Oh,
yeah, and with this new build, I kind of this is a kind of a weird track for this new build. Previously, the car was just always tight for the Xfinity cars.
Mm-hmm.
This track, it's kind of both. Like, it's tight on corner exit, tight through the center at 1 and 2, but loose on entry, loose on exit at 2. It's kind of all over the place. It's a handful out there for these guys.
So it's not really a really cookie cutter mile and a half anymore. It's more of a driver's mile and a half now. Kind of falls more in the driver's hands.
Yeah, definitely. It's a tire eater for sure. So if you can manage that right front tire mainly, it'll definitely pay dividends in the long run.
Yeah, a little bit further back in the pack, just had a top 5. Ludy and Miller, they've been duking it out the last couple of laps. Biggs closing in on that leader. Half a second is the gap now to Scott Stewart. Once again, Scott Stewart just below the cut line. 5 out coming into tonight's race. Even a second place finish here in stage 1 would really benefit him with Banks sitting in 8th. But I think Banks might be starting to save because Banks is 7 seconds off of Ludy right now. I'm almost wondering maybe they are starting to save a little bit here.
Well, I would think it would be too late to start saving now, this deep into the run. If what I heard was correct, 5 miles or 5 laps, I feel like you got to start saving that pretty early.
Yes and no. The one of the things I learned when who won Auto Club and Cup? Morris. When Morris won Auto Club and Cup, my biggest mistake was I didn't use a draft to my advantage. He used a draft at his advantage and actually helped him save a lot more fuel, and that's what we saw Banks and Schaefer doing to start this run. They were just tucked in behind some guys making some passes on the low line. So they might have been saving a decent amount of fuel in the draft and, maybe going half throttle down straightaways.
It's possible. I just think they were carrying too much speed to really be saving that as early as I would feel you would need to. But once again, that's based off of what I heard. I have no confirmation on what the fuel mileage actually is.
Yeah, I think for next season we should maybe extend the Xfinity race to where you can't make it on fuel at all, or you sure can for that stage. Because a lot of these playoff races had this been down to fuel saving in the first stage, and it kind of really
takes the excitement out of it.
It really does. Like, if we could just extend the stages by 5 laps, these mile and a half, where they have to come to pit lane regardless, unless we get that early caution, but. Yeah, and Banks is falling off, and if I'm not mistaken, Banks and Schaefer have had really good success at Texas in the past. So seeing them this far back is not because they're just running slow. I think they're saving some fuel. But I'm not hearing them clutching either. Let's go on board. If I can find the cockpit. There it is. Oh no, Banks is saving. Clutching in, going into 1. Ah, I don't think Banks is going full throttle on the straightaways. He's not even getting 8,000 RPMs.
It's very possible. But I'm also not seeing the tack drop down either, like he's clutching it.
You won one right here. If you just went on board, you won one. Watch. He can clutch it in, shut it off right there.
Okay, yep, I see it.
And the thing about turns 1 and 2 at Texas, just like the Michigan Auto Club with the corners there, is you really don't have to adjust how much time you're off the gas to save fuel. You just turn off your engine and clutch it in instead of just being off throttle all the way. Yeah, he's clutching in early too. Conley starting to fall back a little bit. Actually, I think Conley pitted. No, never mind. But like I've always said, saving fuel, you run the risk of a caution coming out. And then you're down some track position. Luckily for Banks, he's P7. Schaefer's 14th, but he has that win to lock him in. But any other playoff driver might be saving fuel right now. They're losing a lot of track position if we do see a caution. Meanwhile,
yeah, Kevin Biggs able to take the lead and gain 2 seconds on Scott Stewart. So I'm wondering if Scott might be backing it off some too, saving some fuel.
He must have taken the lead pretty quickly because I looked up about 2 or 3 laps ago. Biggs is still in P2.
Well, it looks like he's gaining about a half a second a lap. So I think he's full out now, and I think Scott might be saving.
Well, we got 4 laps to go in the stage. Biggs is a control car by a good bit. He could probably pit next time. No, he's going to come down pit lane this time. And if I'm Kevin Biggs, I think, oh, Stewart went to go pit, and he missed pit lane.
Oh, that's going to hurt him.
If I'm these guys pitting, you're gonna go a lap down. I would take tires here so you can get the way around at stage break.
See, I think Stewart might be able to hang on the lead lap, or I'm sorry, Biggs might be able to hang on the lead lap just because of the position he was in. But any further back,
he just overshot his pit box.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, because they are just getting a splash, aren't they? Oh, did he get caught speeding? No, he took a full tank, I think. That was a very long pit stop for Biggs. Coming off of pit lane now. I think Stewart's coming down pit lane. He is. So is the 12 of Wiggins. What's the 14 of Miller? Miller coming in as well. William Peters going to be your new leader here.
Well, and I think...
My apologies, Evan Ludi is.
I think that might be why we saw Ludi...
falling back.
Yep, as far as he did. He was going into fuel conservation mode.
Yeah, it looks like Biggs will be able to maintain the lead lap coming out right in front of Evan Ludi. And Ludi's still trying to save fuel, so Biggs can go all out right here. And Biggs is no threat to go a lap down here. Question is, where do these other guys come out? Because if you're Scott Stewart, you got 1 lap to get back in the lead lap, and I don't think he has time. Ludi's already flying right by him.
Yeah, at the moment, looks like Brady Price, Ricky Williams, and Mitch Conley are all a lap down.
So Biggs will, or not Biggs, Ludi will win the stage. Still waiting for that caution to come out.
Caution, yellow flag.
There's the caution.
Only 5 playoff drivers in the top 10 here for the stage. Actually, no. Did Golker get it before the line? Did Golker get himself a point? That's the question.
I think he did. It's showing him in 10th on mine.
He did. Tom Golker getting himself a point at the very end of that stage. Golker's in a must-win, but it's still a point, I guess.
So it looks like Scott Stewart will be the lucky dog, so he will get his lap back. Downside is he's going to be starting behind everybody else. Looks like we're going to have probably about 5 or 6 wave rounds, maybe 7.
But
pitted, they will go in and get their lap back.
the plus side, though, is for Stewart. He can come down pit lane and get fresh tires put on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm hearing that we may have some people out of gas.
And that's interesting because you cannot push your teammate to pit lane. The rule I've put in this season. Haven't really seen it be an issue yet. Golker, I think one of the guys out of fuel, he's going to be given an EOL. And I think if he enters pit lane for falling the end, they're going to clear that black flag just because I don't think they would screw him over like that. Oh, he is out. Can he make it? Golker got to make it. He is going so slow right now.
Yeah, we had quite a few of them that would have gotten a black flag due to people running out of fuel. So looks like they got them all taken care of.
Just tallying all the points the other people got. Oh, he makes it. Don't break too late, Golker, because then you're screwed. I laugh because I have made that mistake before.
Oh, I think we all have at some point. Run out of fuel, break too early or too late, and don't make it into your pit box, and then you got to tow.
You know, and it's times like this where it's actually a huge advantage not qualifying, getting that really early pit box, instead of being like the pole sitter having to go all the way into pit lane. Alright, so this is what points we'll look at with stage points and laps led in effect. Oh, don't you break on me. That's gonna break on me. Yeah, it's gonna break. Stupid thing. Oh, I want to do it, but I can't because iRacing being or SK being SK. But Evan Ludi, our pole sitter, gonna lead us back to the green here. Brandon Banks right behind him in P3. Petersby is outside him. Justin May playing the fuel safety with advantage and be restarting top 5 here in P4. So far, very clean race, no incidents. I think there was a mowing the grass, but that was about it.
Green flag.
In fact, back out in the air, Evan leading to green. Gets a good jump, and look at Banks all over that restart. Able to easily clear the 86 of Peters going into turn number 1.
Yeah, that outside lane kind of was slow on the launch there. The 90 was really slow.
Yeah, I'm surprised May got a slow start, but that might have been due to the fact how slow a start Peters got.
Yeah, I think it was. That was a part of it, but he was still slow after Peters launched.
But Ludi coming in tonight, not in a must-win. I believe Ludi was above the cut line. I'm going to look at it this way. No, that's right. Ludi is not above the cut line. Ludi is still 11 out. And the guy who is chasing for points is right behind him.
Yeah, I think on a good note for Ludi, I believe he got that stage win. So
He did, but Banks got fourth.
yeah, so he gained a few points there. Ludi loose off the corner.
Yeah, he had to kind of chase up the track a little bit. Brandon Banks, though, wasn't really close to take advantage of it. But he is there. So, when they did this refresh for these cars, did they do it like what they do in real life, to where if you can get that right front to left rear, it loosens up the car in front of you? And you can really put some air on that left rear quarter panel, and it gets them loose?
I mean, I don't know how much aero change there was. I felt like it was more of just overall grip that they changed.
Oh! I don't know if Banks had a moment, but he went flying up to the track and went into the wall. That looked like a very odd exit for the 54 to turn 4.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to really screw up the exit on 4.
No. I don't know if he got loose and chased it up, or maybe he just thought he could come up that early. I don't know. All right, Sparky. Justin May back there in 7th, but May has a pretty comfortable lead over P5 in points. The only thing that might be bad news for May, if Ludi wins, Bank might have enough points to get around May. Because he is only 7 points ahead of Justin May right now. Him and Sam Gordon. Sam Gordon hasn't got any bonus points. We have yet to see him crack into the top 5. Just I flipped over there. I think there's a battle for the lead going on. There is. Banks looking to the outside of Evan Ludi into turn 3 here. Banks should have the advantage. Should have the runoff here. Oh, that's turn 1. Never mind. No, he won't.
Yeah, if he runs that same line in 3 and 4, though, he definitely will.
Yeah.
I really like that line.
Right on that second seam. See, he did it again. He exits the corner so early. Almost looks like he's getting tight up into the wall. Did Banks lead that lap? He did. Banks barely able to give himself a lap lead here tonight. Liddy, though, fighting back on the inside. Banks still trying to get around him. I just don't know how wear that's putting in those tires running that middle line like that, though.
Yeah, I didn't run long enough to really find that out. But, God, it felt smooth. It's just so much more stable than the bottom line was through 3 and 4.
Yeah, watch this battle. I almost wonder if it'd be smart for Banks to maybe run a little wide in 1 and 2. Diamond it down, get a good runoff with turn 2 down the backstretch into 3. Because that line, like, he can stick even with Ludi, he just can't get around him right now.
Definitely making it interesting, though, running side by side every lap.
Oh!
I imagine eventually we're going to see...
We almost saw some contact.
Eventually we're going to see Collier and these guys behind them start closing in if they keep running side by side.
Yeah, that battle's kind of settled down the back single file. Back to let's talk about Sam Gordon. Was second in points coming in tonight, but has not had a good showing. We have yet to see him inside the top 10. He's currently sitting 15th. About to be 16th, maybe 17th. There's Stewart and Schaefer behind him.
Yeah, Scott Stewart trying to overcome being that lap down, getting the lucky dog, having to drive back through the field.
Yeah, I think Stewart's going to need a caution. Need a caution. He might have the short pit, if I'm not mistaken. It's a 2-stop race from here, so... A big group of cars you got back here, though, led by Schaefer. Gordon, Gibbs, Stewart, Schaefer, Schlumbacher, Price are all back here. Got a decent group in front of them as well. I believe led by this 38 of Spain. Him and Peters going at it for 5th. just being able to get that pass complete.
Matt, just tell him use the skinny pedal on the right.
Wait, what's up?
Matt says crew chiefing a back marker is fun.
Just me. Just in front of these guys. He don't listen. I'm gonna take it. He's crew chiefing Hughes.
No.
Or Jacob.
Jacob.
Oh yeah, he listens even. he even listens even less. Tell him to buy shoes, and it helps. It really does. People will be amazed at how much shoes make a difference when you're racing. Yeah, I didn't race in shoes for the longest time. It wasn't until a couple months ago I finally went and bought me a pair, and I love it. I find myself a lot more now being able to manage my throttle a lot more just because it feels more natural having the shoe on. My only problem is I'm clown feet, so sometimes I've done it in an official race and absolutely demolished a dude in road racing. I went to go hit my brake and my foot slipped and hit the clutch pedal instead. And I went right in the back of someone. I'm like, oh my god, dude. Oh, I got me. It's a company called Zamp. They actually make actual race wear, like racing shoes, helmets, and shoes and stuff like that. Like the shoes I bought would be shoes you would wear if you're actually, in a car racing, on a dirt track or oval or something like that.
Darren Cameron just clobbered the wall off of turn 4. Yeah.
He's a lap down. Yeah, he has a decent amount of right side damage on that car. Especially in the right front. Not a lot. He might have got lucky. Maybe he has some toe damage. Oh, I just noticed it. I gotta get a close-up view of this. Darren Cannon's paint looks pretty sweet. That looks really cool. The bottom of his car. That looks dope. I don't know how he did that, but that looks really cool. I don't know if it's just two colors that make it look like a holographic trading card or what, but it looks dope. Evan Liddy, though, starting to get a little bit of a lead over Banks. About a half a second now. Still I want to say 2 pit stops to go. Maybe 3. No, just 2. And I'll be honest, Tony, with how fuel mileage is here, I don't think you have the opportunity to really short pit. Maybe by a lap. Just because you got
I feel like you could do about 5 laps early in one. On ones, yeah, because I mean, we watched a lot of them run almost, 40. Some of them ran the full 40 laps of fuel. Well, so if you cut it back to like 35 and 35, then you're right at 150.
They ran 40 laps, but that was with saving.
Yeah, we saw some of them guys though that did pit. I don't think they were really saving much, and they pitted like lap 36.
37, yeah. And
yeah,
we went back green flag racing, I think 106 laps to go. So yeah, I guess you could short pit once, but nothing that'd be a huge advantage.
No, or, if you're desperate, you could pit early twice and use that third set of tires, hope a caution comes out. But if you go a lap down, you're pretty much screwed on that strategy. So, yeah, I feel like the safe way is just to runner almost dry, come in and pit, do the same thing the next stage with a couple lap variants.
Yeah, I'm watching the 2 Kyle Busch numbers, the 8 and 18 go at it back here for 7th. Yeah, and I'm going to say this, with how they're running right now, If I'm Banks, where he's running at right now, it would knock Gordon out because Gordon's just not having a race at all.
Yeah, and in reality, I don't feel like Banks really has to push the issue right now. I feel like if he comes in a lap or two before Ludi does, he's going to cycle at least close to the lead.
Yeah, because after all the stage points were updated, Brandon Banks is only 3 points behind Gordon. Stewart starting to struggle, falling back to 22nd. Does he have damage or maybe saving fuel? Oh no, he has damage on that right front, it looks like. Oh yeah. Must have gotten a wall at some point off of 4. And that just shows you it does not take a lot with these cars to slow them down. Penley able to get back around Kevin Biggs. Now Biggs was under attack by Sam Gordon, but he's able to hold him off. And now Biggs back on the attack on the aid of Penley. And it's really a 2-horse battle because these two leaders, they have gapped the field right now.
Yeah, they've
21
definitely
into pit lane. That's really early.
Yeah, and he may be on a 3-stop strategy. I mean, he really doesn't have anything to lose here, so why not?
Man, he didn't hit the ball or nothing.
What does old Larry say? If all you do is follow the leader, that's all you're gonna continue to do?
No, Jake Morgan.
Penley in the wall, a little bit off of turn 4.
Doesn't look like he has damage.
It wasn't a real hard hit.
Maybe just one of those hits that slows you down a little bit.
Yeah, he bounced off a little bit, but not to the extent where I feel like it would cause noticeable damage.
I will say I'm kind of surprised to see how many playoff drivers are struggling here tonight. Top 3 playoff guys can go all the way back to 10th for the next guy. Schaefer, he's in, so pretty sure Schaefer's is out here for a Sunday cruise. Stewart sitting in 23rd, and Gordon, I think, sitting in 16th or 17th right now.
Yeah, I think Stewart would have been fine, but when he missed pit road, that really kind of put him a lap down. If he wouldn't have missed pit road, I feel like he'd still be on the lead, or would have been on the lead lap and been able to maintain the track position. But
oh, for sure, you lose a lot of speed when you're coming to pit lane. It was a really late swerve to avoid pit lane. He knew he wasn't going to make it, but that was also a smart move by Stewart, knowing he's not going to make it. Yeah,
instead of taking the penalty.
I was kind of surprised he missed that commitment cone because he was right there when he came back up on track.
Yeah, I don't know what it was there, if it was a late decision or what happened there, but definitely paying the price for it now.
Yeah. Schaefer able to get around Justin Atkinson in a 42. Justin Atkinson, one of those guys who needs some points. He's currently 4 behind Banks. SVR coming into this round with 3 guys in the playoffs. And I'm going to say at this point, if Ludi doesn't win, they might go 0 for 3 going into the next round. Ludi either needs to win or Banks needs to have some sort of issues. maybe not. Sam Gordon, he's only 11 points behind Sam Gordon.
Yeah, and also you got to take into consideration where Scott Stewart's running compared to his point margin. He's if it were to finish now, he'd be hurting.
Well, he's already hurting after stage is over. He's tied for
Yeah.
6 in points.
Right.
11 behind Banks.
Justin May just doing what he needs to do to move on, kind of just sitting there having a clean race. Yeah, Sam Gordon, Scott Stewart, kind of at the moment. I expect Scott will, in some way, shape, or form, he'll work his way back up there. I feel like he probably needs a couple of cautions to help him with that, but it's still, pretty early in the race.
My apologies. Ludi is 13 or 14 behind Gordon.
It's like the 23 might be coming down pit road. I think we're about
Same
to
as
start
the
seeing
12.
a cycle.
37 laps in, or 37 after stage breaks. Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, it might be a little bit early, but I think this is the front side of it.
I think this is the perfect time to short pit if you're running towards the back to maybe gain a couple spots.
Yeah, the way the race is running right now, all green flag. So if you can gain some track time by running on newer tires while they're still running on older tires, it might net you 2, 3, 4 spots even.
Yeah, and if I'm Ludi, you gotta try to pit with Banks.
I heard Ludi said he was coming in.
So interesting. Banks choosing to stay out here. Interesting call by Brandon Banks.
Ooh, we might have some speeding penalties here. Looking, Kevin Biggs got a black flag.
And if you're one of the playoff guys that's behind Biggs, that's a huge break for you. That's a point. And 1 point go a long way tonight. Banks in this time.
I don't think Banks could really afford to stay out there too much longer.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
I feel like Ludi's gonna gain a little bit here with the gap, as long as he had a decent entry and exit of pit road.
The 42 Axon able to lead a lap here. Would not be surprised if he comes to pit lane this time. Got that lap led. Come to pit lane, get the fresh tires put on.
It's like the 18 has a hold penalty.
I wish iRacing would go to what NASCAR does. If you get caught speeding, just have it be a drive-through. Actually, no, I take that back. Because some tracks that drive-through is worse than a hold.
Yeah, he was 48 miles an hour at the line, and pit road speed is 45, I believe. So he, definitely speeding on entry. Gonna cost him dearly.
94, Brian Marshall out in the lead now. He's coming in this time by. We can put Evan Ludi back in the lead. We're about to see what kind of gap he can have for Banks. And surprisingly enough, with Banks pitting a lap later, I think Banks might have gained some time. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact Banks was able to get on pit road a lot more cleaner than Ludi was. And maybe he was able to get on that pit exit a little bit better than Ludi.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I will say about Brandon Banks and Eric Schaefer is they definitely maximize their pit road entry and exit. They're going to push it right to that limit, and some other people who aren't as confident as them are going to be a little more cautious with it. And I think that's what we see right now with that gap.
Yeah, Banks actually gained a half a second on that pit.
All right, so one of our playoff drivers has disconnected, Tom Gulker.
Oh, that will be the end of his
Justin
run.
May disconnected.
What?
That's what I'm seeing.
No, I still see him on the track. He's running P5.
Oh, yep, you're right. That must have been before the race started. Yeah, Josh Van Westen disconnected. I think that's why we saw the 21 come down pit road. I think he was parking it.
It's unfortunate end of Golker's playoff run. Solid playoff run for Golker. He quietly got his way into this round. Oh, contact with Schaefer and Peters. Peters goes into the grass, back up on track. He should go. No caution, though. Not sure what happened there. Ooh, I don't know if the 86 got loose or maybe Schaefer just misjudged. That's hard to tell. It looks like the 86 had a little bit of a bobble right on corner exit.
Yeah, he was kind of loose. I could see the back end kind of swinging out a little bit. Washed up the track just a little bit, and the 3 stuck his nose in that hole.
What a bully.
I mean, the hole was there. It just closed up. Yeah, I mean, I can't put that on the 3 at all. I just feel like that's a racing deal. Like, the 3 didn't come forward at all. He was there, and the 86 just came down just a little bit to catch him on that, catch his left rear fender on the 3's right front fender.
Yeah, speaking of 3, he's able to get on Justin May for 5th. As Brandon Banks has closed that gap on Evan Looney. And this is what we saw at the start of the stage. Banks was there with Looney, but just could not get around him. Let's see if he's able to make something work this time.
Well, and I think Ludi learned that if he holds that bottom line and doesn't let the 54 get underneath him, he has a pretty good chance of fending him off here.
Yeah, and knowing Banks, I think it's a little too early to maybe see a bumper used in 1.
Caution.
Oh, maybe we don't gotta see a caution or a bumper use. Caution is out. Not sure what for though. I see the 42 slow. I don't see any damage 30, on the 42 though.
Yeah, 37.
Oh, it's William Peters again. Oh, also. All right, iRacing. So we're gonna be NASCAR now. Throwing NASCAR cautions. That was an odd caution. I don't know.
Yeah, that was kind of another one of those things where, I mean, the 37 came up a touch, but it was just kind of an odd line that the 86 was running.
On my end, it looked like a little bit of net code.
And that's very possible. It's just weird.
Yeah, that might have
been. Oh,
yeah.
That's net code.
Net code, yeah.
Yeah, you see the back end of that 86 step out with probably a foot in between them.
Now, I'm almost wondering if iRacing threw that caution. I mean, the 86 hit sideways. What a save. Oh, actually, Peters did not save it. He got a little help from a blinking Grindle to help correct his car, but I'm almost wondering maybe since Grindle blinked out, maybe iRacing stopped scoring him and that's why they threw it? I don't know.
Well, I feel like if you have the car 90 degrees turned the wrong way, I feel like iRacing, chances are that's going to be a wreck. Now, he was fortunate. I feel like when the 37 blinked out, there was a little net code that straightened him out.
For sure.
But if that doesn't happen, I feel like the 86 either locks it down in the sideways on the track or ends up hitting the inside wall.
But we'll go to tracks that you see a way bigger wreck and there's no cautions. Cough, cough, Daytona. There you go. Yeah. You can have the whole field pile up. As long as they're below that racing surface, no caution. someone was joking one time with an official after we had a no caution wreck, and they were like, you know what? I think for every single official session, an iRacing official should be in here throwing cautions. I'm like, dude, you're crazy. Do you know how many official sessions there are just almost alone?
Especially like Daytona week where you're running it across at least 3 series.
Interesting. No drivers coming down pit lane here.
Well, I feel like most everybody did their stop already, so this really is not in the fuel window for anybody. So the only people that this really helps are people like that 88 car, where it bunches everybody back up, so he's got a chance to pass some more cars.
And he gets a chance to get damage there, 'cause I think he's a minute behind. Still quite a bit of damage in the 80. I'm almost wondering he got some toe damage, because he still has a lot of right front body damage on that car. But I was like, I know iRacing makes a lot of money, but I don't think they make enough money to pay someone to sit there and race control every single official oval race. Like,
Yeah, nah.
Plus, do you guys really want to get banned? Because half the stuff y'all be saying at officials. I gotta go laugh at it. And then Mike Tisdale started thinking, like, man, that's a lot of races they would have to do from A to C class, a lot. And it's not just NASCAR. You know, you got the open wheels that have some oval races. You got the late models, the street stocks. That's a lot of races.
Oh yeah.
And with Ludo back in control of this restart, Pacer down on pit lane, gonna restart here with 60 laps, 59 to go.
Moody got a really nice jump.
Yeah, Banks is actually able to hold his own there, surprisingly. Banks actually, for the outside car, got a pretty solid jump there. You got Schaefer and Collier side by side out of turn 2.
I think if you're Evan Ludy, you're just going to stay glued to that bottom. That means if you're in the lead for the restart, you're choosing the bottom. Everything we've seen so far, it's harder to pass on the outside, so he's going to stay right on that bottom line.
Still got Ludy and Collier going at it back here for third. Or, not Ludy. Schaefer and Collier. Oh, almost contact between the two.
Just a little rubbing.
I'll be honest, if I'm Evan Ludy, I don't want to see that number 3 P3 at all. I think the driver that might have benefited from the caution the most is the 42. I think he was running 10th. Now he's worked his way up to 6th, maybe even 5th, had the outside lane off of turn number 2 with the 8 of penalty to his inside. I think Justin should get him here. He had that preferred line out of turn 4.
Just a matter if you can hold it down long enough to keep it out of the wall.
And they actually got a really good exit off of turn 4 there on the low line. Oh, Grindle. Smart move by Grindle. I don't know if you saw that or not, Tony, watching this battle. It almost looked like Grindle might have jabbed the brakes there a little bit. He saw the hole, realized it was not a smart spot to go 3 wide, and he kind of just let him go.
All right. Yeah, I don't feel like there's really a good spot in this track anywhere to go 3 wide, to be honest.
3 and 4.
Oh,
What?
man, I don't know. That turn 4 wall comes out quick.
Look. So when you're going down the front stretch, you have those dash lines. 3 perfect lanes, right? So therefore, you can go 3 wide.
I mean, in theory you can, but with this car and the way it handles, I would not be comfortable going 3 wide anywhere on this track. Maybe the backstretch only, but you know.
I
But
won't
then
lie.
you got to get to 2 wide.
I won't lie though. On tracks that have the 3 lines, I can't tell you how many times it screwed me over because my brain will think, "Oh, I have to stay in between the white lines," because that's what you train your brain when you're driving. You got to stay between the white lines. You know, we'll be 4 wide at places like Dago where it is very doable, but your brain is so taught to stay between the white lines, you don't want to ride the white line. Very confusing. They should just get rid of white lines on the tracks. I don't know why they have them.
Speaking of 3 wide. Ooh, that was a...
Where?
I can draw. It was on the backstretch. It was the 97, the 23, and the 6.
Yeah, they're still going at it.
Yeah, the 6.
Oh,
oh
23 in the grass.
The 6 made a very aggressive move to slide up in front of the 23 to make the corner. And I think the 23 cut him a break there because if he would have been on throttle, I feel like the 6 would have been going around.
Probably been going around into the 23. So
yeah.
So Conley probably trying to save his race there. Battle for the lead about to start heating up here pretty soon. That 3 is catching these 2 guys, and I'm no person that can predict the future, but I'm pretty sure if Schaefer gets to the bank, they are going to work together like no other around or Ludi.
Oh, absolutely. Schaefer's already locked in. He's got nothing to lose, so he's going to help his teammate as much as he can.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, if you're Schaefer and Banks, it could also be a strategy move. Let's say Banks does point his way in. Ludi is a huge threat. He has been fast all season long. You don't want to see him in a championship for. Yes, we got another yellow. That is the 3 of Schaefer. We were just talking about him. Wasn't on him, but he's involved in a wreck. What happened back here with Eric Schaefer?
Looks like he got punted by the 42. Twice.
3 times.
3 times.
Oh. And if I'm not mistaken, those 2 have some history too.
Oh, they definitely do.
And I don't think that was malicious intent by accident. Like he might have meant to give him that bumper the first time. I think he and just by looking at it, looks like he tried to go around him and just wasn't able to the second time. But that looks like just one of those deals where you don't like the way someone's racing in the past, so you're just gonna give him a bumper, and it just ends up spinning him out.
Yeah, I feel like that was too much though. I don't know. That was 3 hits. Like, man, I don't know.
Like I said, I don't. So the first hit, I'm pretty sure he might have meant to do, maybe move him out of the way, try to get around him. But the second hit, I don't know if Axon thought he was going to spin, or maybe he just made a late move to the outside. Because if you slow it down, it looks like Schaefer's about to spin out, and Axon starts going low, thinking Schaefer's going to spin, and then Schaefer's able to collect it.
All right, so this is a very interesting point in the race right now. 47 laps to go. We've got a few people that came down pit road. I don't know that they can make it.
I don't think they can. But the thing is,
a couple cautions they can.
But here's the thing though. They're on 23 lap old tires. Whether they can make it or not, this might be a good race strategy move by Ludi. Come down, get 4 tires put on, make your way through the field, and run it long, and then just splash it off at the end of the race. Because if anything, they're going to be maybe, what do we got, 47 to go? Probably like 45 when we go by green flag racing. So they'll be about 7-8 laps short. That's only going to take about 3 gallons of gas.
Yeah, well, I guess on the other side of that is, I don't know, I feel like track position is going to be pretty big here. I don't think there's a right call here. I feel like it could go wrong either way you go. I feel like pitting here might just put you in a bad spot track position-wise, or if it does go wrong, you're more than likely going to be involved.
So I would agree with you if I didn't see, I can't remember who I was watching. It was, it wasn't a pro driver, it was someone up there with higher I rating. Took tires at Texas, restarted back in the mid-teens, like back teens, right? And the way he was able to drive the track on the outside, because everyone was so loose or tight or so slow on the bottom, he went from wherever he was at the first in 10 laps.
Yeah, I just looking at the lap times though, man. I'm looking and I don't see the fall off that I feel like would be needed for that to work right now, anyways. Like,
Yeah, but you also remember with iRacing, these tires, it don't matter what you're running. When the fall off happens, it happens quick.
yeah.
You could be
So
feeling fine
looking-
one lap, and the next lap you're skating on ice.
Looking at some of these guys, like they're 4/10 off their fastest lap to slate and run. So I don't know starting that far back would be worth it at this point. It may work out in the long run, but unless they get cautions, they're still going to have to pit. So they're giving up track position without preventing one more pit stop.
But you also remember,
that's my logic.
The guys who had just stayed out, they're probably going to pit for a full pit stop, 4 tires and fuel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone who just came down, they max got to take 5 gallons of fuel, and that doesn't take no more than 6 seconds to do.
Yeah.
So instead of a 10-second, 12-second pit stop, you're only doing a 6-second fuel pit stop. And depending on how fast they can make their way through traffic, they could probably get a good lead on the leader, on Banks and May. Should be interesting if this goes green. Should be really interesting how this plays out.
If it goes green, I think it could potentially be a very smart move. But man, it's like we already got bobbles right now, 14-6. Let's check up the outside line.
I'll say this, Gordon, I am very surprised he did not pit there. He doesn't have stage points. He definitely has struggled on speed tonight. I would have pit there for possible track position net gain on the back end of this, as one of the guys who did pit, Evan Ludi, already starting to make his way through the field. Keep an eye on him on the scoreboard. He is currently scored 14th right now. And these fresh tires, if Ludi is smart and he knows what he's doing, he can make this outside of 1 and 2 work like nobody else. So watch right there.
As long as there's room.
Yep, right there. Boom. Look at the track position and the time he gained on the 42 and the 20 or the 37 right there. 3 wide off of turn number 2. Watch now. Ludi's gonna run that outside. That's what I'm talking about, Tony. It's very doable.
Yeah, it's definitely doable. You're just susceptible, I guess, to other people.
Oh, absolutely.
That you haven't been racing around. That's more of my concern.
But here's the thing. I don't think Ludi has a set of tires left. I think they're only given 3 extra sets. And that was his 3rd set. So if we do get he almost caused it. We do get a late race caution. That's going to be his race. His playoffs.
Absolutely. Very few people went down pit road and got tires. So it would be him and a couple other on this strategy. So if they stay out, the person on fresh tires is going to be, what, 4th or 5th?
Yeah.
One caution upsets this, and it's like, I get it for Ludi. It's kind of desperation mode. He needs a win, basically.
I don't think it necessarily is, though, because Ludi has led the most laps today.
Yeah, and he did win the stage, I believe, so that's 10 more points. But yeah, it's a horse apiece either way.
Yeah, but I think at this point, if you're Evan Ludi, your guaranteed shot at the championship is a win. So. Yeah. If this stays green, I feel this is the race-winning move for Ludi. People always ask why I'm such a good crew chief, because I think about all the possibilities. Like, this is stuff I think about when I'm a crew chiefing. Throwing a green flag run. If a caution comes out here, what would tires do for us? And he's already made his way up to 7th. But also, if you're Ludi, you got to be smart here. You're trying to make your way through the field, but you do not want to burn that stuff up to where you're going to lose on the back end of a run. And if you're Banks or May, I say you got to try to pit probably no later than 120.
And you see Ludi, he's doing what he needs to do, right? He's staying glued to that white line. And as these cars in front of him on older tires come off the corner, they're not going to be able to hold the line as long as he will be able to. So he can rip that line and pass him on the inside, and that seems to be really where the passes are going to be made.
Yeah, but if
you also got to have patience, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I've been watching him since the green flag, and he's had a lot of patience. Oh, the 86 goes right off the 18.
Yellow flag.
He just turned up into him, I think.
And I think this will... Ooh. This might be interesting for Ludi.
It's close enough to that pit stop where
It-
he may cycle to the front and still be fairly even
It
if everybody
is.
pits.
But he already has 7-8 laps on these tires. On the back of a run, he might be hurting. Let's go back
Yeah.
to what happened there.
It just looked like the 86 wasn't clear and came up. That's what I saw.
Wait, did the 86 come up or did Biggs come down?
Yeah, Biggs may have came down a little bit.
I think that's on Biggs. He definitely came
Yeah,
down a
he
lot more than
definitely
86
came down.
up.
Yeah, 86 was just like inching up, where Biggs came down a good foot to 2 feet.
Oh, and Hastings. Arc or brake weekly. Wow.
Ram.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. So as predicted, everybody who stayed out last time is coming down now. Ludi came down. He's gonna do fuel only. This will
Yep.
get him to the end, and it should leapfrog him. I would think up to the front.
My only worry is how big of a detriment are those 7 laps going to be at the end of this run coming up.
He was pretty cautious coming into his pit box. Fuel only. Looks like he's gonna be the first one off pit road. Banks actually lost a few spots to the 37 and the 42, it looks like, but I'm not sure whether they took tires or fuel only.
Let's go back. Did Banks overshoot his pit box? No, clean entry for Banks. What about the 42? What does he do here?
Fuel only.
Did
See,
he,
I think
did
he-
he take fuel? It looked like he... Did he
I
not?
didn't see his car go up in the air. I think that was fuel only. But I think he pitted under the last one.
Oh, shoot. I gotta go live. Tell you. He did. Top 3 did.
Yes.
Yeah, if I'm Ludi, I think cautions will be your best friend right now. They're on 10 lap older tires. Granted, I think 4 of those laps have been under caution. Oh, shit. Should be interesting.
Yeah, it's... Will they hold... Will those tires hold long enough? And, 30... Call it 35 to go. That's a long run, so... He's got to try to maintain the lead, but he's also got to try and conserve tires, and... It's going to be a tall ask.
If it stays green, yeah.
If it stays green. But I also feel that if he starts falling back, he's going to get swallowed up by the guys on fresh tires. And realistically, these guys are kind of right on the edge of that fuel window. So if they push hard here and we get some green-white checkers, we may see some people who end up short on fuel and have to pit or run out even.
Alrighty, Ludi.
Green,
Grindle is back to green here. Oh, Grindle got a really bad restart. Ludi actually got a really good one. That's going to bottle Brandon Banks up here for the time being. Shouldn't be too long, though. Banks going to make possible quick work here with the 37 as they roll through 1 and 2. How about the 6 in Newbral? Another one of those guys who's kind of had a solid run here in the playoffs. Granted, he is not a playoff driver, but he's made some stuff work here. Banks Banks working on the 42 Axon on the outside lane on those newer tires. Grindle, though, helping Axon out down the straightaway to give him a little bit of draft help. Almost contact between Banks and Justin. Yeah, I just think those 6-lap tires is too big of a detriment. But yet again, Banks has been running top 5, top 3 all day. Justin Axon has been outside the top 5 most of the race, so...
Yeah, it's hard to judge the speed. We'll see if Banks starts closing up on Ludi and if he's able to make the pass. That'll kind of tell you how much the tires are worth.
Speaking of Justin, he is holding up a big bundle of cars back here. 3 wide, 2 wide off of turn 2. Oh, Miller almost came up right in that left rear quarter panel.
That last lap, Banks did close up a little bit on Ludi, but it was like 0.07 of a second. It wasn't a whole lot. I'm curious to see what it'll be at the line here. Oh, 5 and 42 trade a little paint.
Yeah, and if you're Ludi, you just got to try to maintain this lead until the tires start evening out.
Yeah, I gained a 10th that lap.
Let's go see. Let's go Ludi and Atkinson.
Justin May sitting here in 4th. Just kind of running a quiet race. Doing what he needs to do to make that championship 4.
Yeah, and the one thing I've been noticing about May tonight is he hasn't really put his car in a bad spot. You know, if he sees someone trying to pass him, he doesn't really fight him too much, knowing, hey, I just got to get a solid run here. I'm in the championship 4. There's no need for me to battle you when I came in with a pretty good points lead. And talking about playoff drivers, how about the 8 of Scott Stewart back in the top 6 here?
Yep, drove his way back through the field.
Or the 80 of Scott Stewart.
But yeah, like you were saying with Justin May, he's doing just what he needs to do as we got a battle for the lead shaping up here.
He caught Banks, or Ludi caught... Banks caught Ludi quick. He was a half a second back like 2 laps ago.
Yep. I think once he started getting that snip of that draft, he was able to close that gap pretty quick.
Yeah, look at Banks diamonds the corner. Maybe look for a run off of turn 4. He does. To that outside of Ludi, he goes.
Yeah, Ludi doing everything he can to protect that bottom, but I think it may have scrubbed off a little speed off of turn 4, holding it down so tight.
Banks should clear him off of 2. He does. Yeah, caution really hurt Ludi there.
I think Banks is just going to pretty much drive away here.
Like I said, Ludi is 14 behind Gordon.
Gordon's sitting in 7th right now.
Atkinson, though, starting to fall back. What? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He took. Oh.
He did fuel only, and he's definitely fallen. I mean, he's racing side by side with Jacob Treat right now, back in the 13-14 range.
I wanted to say something about me next, Jacob. I guess Matt's words of advice are finally rubbing off on Jacob. Yeah, Justin, after the stage break, he was out of the Final 4. Currently sitting 7 points behind Banks, who's leading the race.
I don't really think there's a whole lot Ludi can do right now. Banks has got everything on his side.
think Ludy's best hope is once these tires even out here in about 10 laps, hope for a caution and then maybe have a chance at the end. But right now, this might be the end of the playoffs for Ludy.
Yeah, Ludy's falling fast. Lost 2/10 that last lap.
Yeah, Ludy either needs to have caution late in the race or Sam Gordon to have issues at this point.
And Sam's got a pretty decent gap out front and behind him, so I don't think he's really in a spot to have to worry. And unfortunate for Evan Ludy, Justin May just made a pass, so that's one less point. And I wouldn't be surprised if Miller ends up getting up there too.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I said it last week at Bristol, but what a playoff run in the season turnaround Sam Gordon has had. If this stays green, he's running where he's running at, he'll be in the championship for the first time. Has a chance at the championship after, I would have to go back. I want to say he missed the playoffs last season.
I think he made it, but he was out early, or you may be right. I know he was somewhere right around that top 16. But him, Justin May, another one that we don't really talk about a whole lot.
Very quiet season for those two.
Yeah, they're not really caught up in anything. They just kind of run quietly throughout the race, and then they just show up at the end, at least recently.
But I almost wonder with Sam if maybe the refresh of these cars is what turned the season around for him, because we saw Banks and Schaefer struggle for the longest time this season until they got this car figured out, and Gordon just from the start of the season or this refresh with this car, he just started clicking stuff off and making stuff work.
Yeah, I think it was definitely an equalizer. We had some people in this field that were just, leaps and bounds over other people. I think the refresh definitely closed that gap up, but as some of these drivers got a better handle on their car, they started, rising back to the top. But Sam's just been Mr. Consistent.
All right, back at the way.
Justin Miller making a move underneath Evan Ludy. Might bring Michael Newbraw with him. Ludy's going to shut the door on him.
That was a risky move by Ludy. You got everything to lose, and Newbraw has nothing to lose. And those two teams right there, they've been going at it nose and tail all season. So I'm pretty sure Newbraw didn't come a break. Ludy's got lucky he wasn't close enough to hit that bumper.
Well, and I think Ludy's trying to stop the bleeding, right? He needs to prevent people from passing him, but he also needs some other people in the field to have issues. Well, if people keep passing him, it really doesn't matter what happens further behind him. So, yeah, he's trying to control what he can control and hope it works out. But I don't see it happening tonight.
Yeah, and that's just a tough break for Ludy. A lot of that stems from the bleeding that was caused at Bristol, just unable to bandage it up here at Texas, and unfortunately for him, unless he wins a lottery, Ludy unfortunately not going to be in the championship for, which is crazy because he was our only driver that had multiple wins in a regular season.
Yeah, he really started off the season really strong, but has kind of been on a downward trajectory towards the end of the season into the playoffs. Not having the strong runs that we're used to, that we saw earlier in the season.
Yeah, and DVR looking to go 5 for 6 in the playoffs as far as wins go. That's pretty impressive for a team itself to win almost every race in the playoffs.
Yeah, we kind of saw that last season with those guys pretty much throughout the whole season. But like you said, that refresh of this car, I feel like closed the gap a little bit, but they're good enough drivers where they were able to get a good handle on it and just kind of rise back up through the rankings.
Well, I can't. I don't know if you said on broadcast or not, but like you did say something about it. How we were talking. Ludo was the only guy with multiple wins. You know, the playoff started, and coming into tonight, you had Schaefer, Banks, and Ludo all with 3, and Banks looking to get number 4 here tonight.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that after last race, where it was just kind of odd, where it was single winners except for Evan Ludi, and then all of a sudden the DBR guys show up and start clicking off wins.
It almost kind of played like how the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series played out. Like, you saw a bunch of new winners throughout the regular season, playoffs started, and then the usual winners started coming too.
As Evan Ludi drops another spot to Scott Stewart.
Yeah, Stewart knows guys fast all season long. Unfortunately, going to possibly fall short. I know we still got 14 laps to go, but he's looking to fall a little bit short here tonight. But what a rebound Stewart had. Had to go a lap down, got some right front damage, bounced back into the top 5. And I almost wonder if we do see a caution, Stewart might have something for Banks. Let's look at the lap times. Last time by, Stewart was a 10th.5 quicker. This time by, another 10th quicker.
I also got to think that you got to consider the draft into that. That's probably given Stewart a little bit extra, where Banks doesn't really have any draft.
True.
But with that being said, Stewart's also passing cars, so that's going to slow him down a touch.
Yep, and looking at points right now, Stewart is 11 behind Banks after the stage, so Stewart would need Banks to have issues or he would have to win the race.
37-42, little bit of contact. 42 got pretty loose there, but was able to gather it back up.
Hey, it wouldn't be a playoff race without a green-white checkered, all right? Speaking of wild finishes, since when does the ARCA series do one-lap shootouts? Like, what in the heck was that?
That was definitely interesting.
That is the stupidest thing I've seen in racing. Like, do a green-white checkered or call the race. Don't ever do a one-lap shootout, because then you're just asking for everyone to bottle it up and wreck it. Look at that damn toy. Dog? Get your other toys out the squeaker. Gosh. 10 to go here at Texas. Banks in very good control of this race. 2-second gap over Justin May. And I'm pretty sure Justin May is in no rush to try to go and win the race.
Yeah, I feel like he's pretty comfortable where he's at. He just needs to keep clicking off laps, managing that gap behind him, and he should be sitting in a good spot.
Yeah, because unlike any other round in these playoffs, next round, points do not matter at all. Stage points don't matter. Playoff points don't matter. So May knows, he's like, what is the point of going up there, possibly ruining my race for a win when, other than, you know, a 1 in the win column and I guess a little ego boost, it does nothing for you next week.
Yeah, and he's already got 1 win on the season. I believe it was Talladega.
Yep.
So, I mean, you know, the checkered flag is always nice, but is it worth, you know, a championship? You know, the potential to win a championship. I wouldn't put myself in that situation. Scott Stewart's starting to fall off a little bit now.
Yeah, he might have cooked his stuff up trying to make it to the front. I mean, Stewart had the speed early on. He was one of the guys up there with Banks and Ludi to start this race. It's just that missing pit lane. He might look back at that, kick himself in the butt. That might would have cost him a championship for appearance.
I think it did, to be honest. I think missing, because if he doesn't miss pit lane. He doesn't go a lap down. I'm assuming the damage he got was because he was back in traffic.
Yep.
He really shot himself in the foot with that one. And 42. What is going on here? Caution is out.
What did happen there? Jacob! Hold on, I haven't watched it yet. Hold on. Jacob!
Yeah, Jacob just coming and caught him in the left rear.
I will say this, though. That almost looked like same neck we saw earlier. I'll slow it down.
I feel like that was going to happen regardless. Jacob was just carrying a lot more speed on corner entry than the 42 was.
I don't know, because the 42 was drifting up the track, too. I don't know. I think that might be negative, because the 42 is drifting as well. You can see on the tar strip, or what do you guys want to call it?
Yeah, I still think they would have made contact. It might not have been as aggressive of contact, but I still think they would have made contact.
Solid job on the 42, keeping it out of the wall, though. Well,
this is going to make things interesting
very
here.
Interesting. Oh, wow. I said it. It's not a playoff race without some cautions at the end. I think this will be a natural green-white checkered. Maybe three lap shootout.
Yeah, I believe it will be a natural.
Now here's the question: Do you have fuel if it comes down to green-white checkered?
I think that's gonna be well. I think everybody came in, but it could be close for some of these guys.
Well, you got to remember, if people use their auto fuel.
Yep.
How many times has auto fuel screwed somebody over? I've been screwed by it.
I've gotten to the point where I just automatically set mine at 10.
Well, I don't like the auto fuel, and here is why. Because I feel the auto fuel takes the calculation out of the fuel mileage. Like, it basically gives it the advantage someone like me had, being able to figure out fuel mileage and calculate it, goes away because now you can auto fuel it for you. Not iRacing tells you how much fuel you need. I've never liked it. I think it's dumb.
Yeah, I guess comparing it to real life, you have somebody doing that for you anyways.
Yeah, I guess.
But I'd be curious to see what May does here. He's got to get a good launch.
Yeah, and if I'm May, I think I'm more nervous than Banks, because Banks, it's not in a must win, neither is May, but Banks, I think
you don't want to find yourself out.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this will be a pretty clean start from the first row.
That's why Banks shows high.
Yeah, he's got his teammate. He's going to try and pull his teammate around. I imagine they will be pretty close to bumper.
I do hear some cars shut off rolling through 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing them. Some of them are still in fourth gear, coasting around, clutching in. Definitely saving fuel.
Shoot, I've done that so much, I do it when I don't even need to anymore. It's just such a habit by me now, under caution.
Yeah, Banks is in fourth gear, shutting it off.
Don't forget to put it in second. It should be interesting. Smart move by Banks picking up his teammate, though, because that's going to give you a little bit more of a buffer from the faster guy. I'm just curious what maybe Stewart, maybe even Ludi had, but Ludi started dropping, so I think Ludi might be out of it.
I feel like he's out of it. Right now, it's just trying to get off this restart clean and not have any issues.
Banks got to go launch. Newbraw surprisingly not able to clear the 90 of May. Side by side going into turn number 1. That's going to help Banks.
I think if I'm May here, I'm just letting Newbraw go and falling in behind.
That's what he's going to do. Maybe Miller as well. Yeah, it don't look like May's in no hurry to try to challenge these guys.
Like, if May comes out of here with the top 5, I feel like he's pretty safely in.
Newbraw, Miller almost get into it. Here we
See,
go.
and that's probably not something May wants to see.
No, heck no. Justin Axon, I don't know if he has tires or what. If he does, he is hauling the mail. Contact between him and Justin May.
Oh, May gathered it up.
Is Axon on tires?
He might be.
He is cruising. 1 to go, though. I don't think he has anything left. We'll find
I don't
out.
think there's enough time.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, Tony. Oh, my gosh. What a corner by Justin Atkinson. 1 lap to go. He's over the bumper bait. Puts him in the wall, but Justin gets spun up by Newbrawl. Michael Newbrawl looking to win his first race, I think, in the league. After contact on the last lap, and here comes Justin Miller and Ricky Williams. Michael Newbrawl will win it at Texas. Wow, what a finish. Justin Axon
That was
went
insane.
for the win. Gotta go back and look at that last lap, because look at the run. Axon got 1 and 2. Holy cow.
Yeah, he blinked out on my screen on exit 2.
Oh my. Yeah, Banks just went up for a bad block.
Well, so Atkinson has been having connection issues all night. I assume that's why he blinked out on my screen.
Oh no, he didn't blink out on mine.
Hmm.
Banks just slid up off, he just slid up off the corner right in front of the 42.
Wow, that was a wild finish.
Oh man, if I'm Justin, you are not happy right now. Newbrawl though, what a win. How about Ricky Williams P3? Holy cow! Michael Newbrawl. Well, that's one way to get your first win. And with Banks being the highest finishing playoff driver, that doesn't knock him out.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the points play out here, but I think it's going to be close on a few of these drivers.
Pending possible penalties, but I don't think we'll have it. We might, I don't know. I think it's going to be Banks, Gordon, May, and Schaefer. Because after this, yeah. Oh yeah, because there was too big of a gap between 4th and 5th after stage. Atkinson was the closest. He was 7 out. Ludy and Stewart were both 11 out. And Colker's out of the race. So yeah. I will say this though. Great with the block or not, Banks. That saved this playoff run. Because had Justin won that race, Banks would have been out. I think. Yeah, Banks would have been out had Justin won that race. No, hold on. Where did Gordon finish? 5th? Oh, we'd be close to him and Gordon. Wow, that was a wild finish. Matt, you ugly. Alright. Let's kick it off with our P3 finisher, Ricky Williams. I don't know if he had a set of tires left or not, but man, what a finish that was. I don't know what you got to see out of it, but you come across the line 3rd, dude. What a race.
Yeah, thanks. About time I get in top 3. Yeah, I put on new tires, and, I think I could have got the win, but, it's too much congestion in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, still come across P3, not a playoff driver or anything, but still solid race for you. We'll let you get your shout-outs in. I'm still getting over that finish. That was insane. We'll let you get your shout-outs in. Congrats on the 3rd, and good luck next week at Richmond.
Yeah, man. Enjoyed it. Just shout out to this club and all they do. I've been running with them for years and enjoy it. And shout out to my teammate Darren, and next season we're going to do better.
All right, man. Good luck.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right, let's pull in our P2 finisher, Justin Miller. I don't think there's anything you could have done there at the end of that race to get the win, but what a finish that was, man. Talk us through that final lap and what you saw through your front window.
Well, I was, just that restart was a little sloppy, but I was catching back up to him. And then coming out of two, next thing I knew, there was Atkinson on my outside, really trying to force the situation. And he obviously had fresh tires, but I wasn't going to lift. I don't think Newbrow was going to lift either. And it was tense for sure. I'm glad we made it through. It's a shame for Atkinson because if he would have made that through, he definitely would have gotten the win. But man, that was a nail biter, and I was really hoping I could get the side draft to work and get me past Newbrow. But man, that's definitely a good finish. I've been having a rough few races with either my internet or just getting caught up in something, just ruining races that I really should have done better in. And to finally have a good finish to represent my speed and my skill, it's refreshing, and it's really nice to have it again.
All right, man. Well, congrats on that P2 here tonight. Let's get shout outs and good luck next week at Richmond.
All right. I just want to give a shout out to friends, family, and my wife. Everybody who watches and supports. I want to give a shout out to my new company. I'm trying to kind of slowly build up and bring up. It's going to be Miller Motorsports, and we're going to be using our digital and real life racing as a way to market any partners that we get. So if you find us on Instagram and contact us through there.
All right, man. Good luck next week.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, let's put on our race winner. Led one lap tonight. It was the only lap that mattered. Michael Newbrow, man, you had one hell of a finish. Talk her through that final lap and what was going through your head as you were just following your teammate and coming across the white, the checkered, the start finish line for the white flag.
The whole thing was we got Banks tells me as soon as we take the white, he's like, man, congratulations, Mikey, we got this. And then the whole team's like, Banks, there's one more lap left. What are you doing?
he pulled a Tyler Reddick at Homestead.
He did, and I'm like, Banks, go, bro. So I told him, I said, Atkinson's coming to the outside. He's coming, so he slid up to block him, and then Atkinson blinked. I don't know where he went, but he went somewhere to the moon. And next thing I see him pop right in front of me, and right off the front end of my bumper, I was like, oh, I got this. I'm not giving up the lead now.
You said, Banks, you're in the playoff, dude, with that position. I'm out, dude. Bye. But, man, you keep the DBR fire going here in the playoff. 5 of 6 races won by you guys. Solid race by y'all, but man, I still can't get my finish. I actually came in a hurry, but that blinking that's weird because I didn't see him blink at all. And Tony was saying the same thing. He saw Axton blink out.
Yeah, it was a big blink, like about 3/4 of the way through the corner, he just disappeared, and I'm like, where'd he go? And then next thing I know, he's coming blinking back in right off the front end of my bumper. I'm like, oh, there he went.
It's like that song, Where Are You? All right, man. Well, congrats on your first win. I think the first win in this league. No?
Yeah, I think so. No, I think I got another win, but this is my first this season.
Did you? I don't know. I can't remember. But anyways, congrats on the win here tonight. Let's get your shout-outs in, and good luck to you and your team next week at Richmond. The game's got 2 of them in that championship, and it should be interesting to see how Richmond plays out with it being a short track.
For sure. Schaefer should be great there. Banks is always tough. Piggybacking right off that, I want to thank those guys and Hastings, and they're true brothers. And then all of Drinking Bros Racing. I mean, we had a couple guys in there just watching and spotting for us, so it's like one big family. Thank Paul's. He handles all of our setups and all of our paints, and then of course you guys in the league. I want to thank you guys. It's been great. And then last but not least, I always like to thank the family. Like to thank my beautiful wife Jennifer and all 6 of my kids.
All right, man. Good luck to you guys next week, man. Congrats.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
Well, Tony, I knew the finish would be exciting, but wow. I didn't think it would play out like that.
That was a wild one.
It wasn't Texas the track that Sieg lost by like a hair last season?
I think that was like Kansas.
Was it? I would have to look it up. I can't remember. No, it wasn't Kansas because it was Texas because that next weekend was Kansas and that was the Larson Busher
Oh,
Larson
maybe
Busher
that's
finish.
what I'm thinking. Yeah.
But championship 4 points aren't updated. But I truly don't think. Yeah, they're not updated. I don't think. I'm wrong when I say Gordon Banks, May, and Schaefer. I just think there's too big of a points buffer after the stage end. Even if possible penalties do pop up, points penalty for someone to lose a spot. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. It was a solid race, though. Cup's coming here Wednesday night for our final race in the round of 8. Forns, where to lock himself in, might go out there and wreck him early just because he needs more practice for Richmond. So Forns locked himself in with that win at Bristol. Trucks, they're coming here to Texas tomorrow night. And Arca is going to Bristol, which I'm kind of excited for because Bristol got a refresh, or is getting a refresh tomorrow. So that should be interesting. I've seen it. It looks really cool. It's more of a graphics refresh. I don't think it's anything handling. So we'll see about that. But thank you all for tuning in. Congrats to Newbra on the win. Congrats on the championship 4. Good luck to you guys next week. Hopefully we have a decent race at Richmond. Which, I don't know, Tony. These cars at Richmond might get interesting.
Yeah, I should put on a good show though.
But we'll catch you guys next time. Later.